This is the Math Priority Standard test for place value. The first three questions are converting place value from one to another. In numbers 4 and 5, you are comparing how many places or the value of the digit and where it's located on the place value chart. So let's do number 1 together. You must show your thinking. Showing your thinking means you're writing down the number. So what do I know? I have 3,000 tens. Really, that's like 3,000 times 10. So I'm going to write that number in standard form. So I'm going to start by writing 3,000. When I multiply it by 10, I have another 0 added. So 3,000 tens is the same as 30,000. Now, I need to go to the hundreds place. So I'm going to underline the digit in the hundreds place. Then I'm going to put a box around it. And everything in the box is my answer. So 300 hundreds is the same as 3,000 tens. Number 2, I have 4 tenths. It's already written in standard form for me. I need to go to the hundredths place. I don't have the hundredths place listed, but I can annex a 0 or make an equivalent decimal by adding a 0. It does not change the value of the number. Now I can underline the hundredths place, and I can put a box around it going forward. I cross out the decimal, and my answer is 40. 4 tenths is the same as 40 hundredths. In number 3, I have the number 3. I need to go to the tenths place. So I'm going to put a decimal after the ones place and add 1 0 for the tenths place. I'm going to underline the tenths place, put a box around everything going forward, and I'm going to cross out the decimal. So my answer is 30. This right here is showing your work. When you show your work, your chances of getting the answer correct increases. Now we're going to do numbers 4 and 5. You can also show your work in numbers 4 and 5. So in the number 9,543 and 52 hundredths, the 5 in the tenths place, I'm going to underline the tenths place, is blank times the value of the 5 in the hundredths place. Here's the 5 in the tenths place. Here's the 5 in the hundredths place. Now I'm going to put a 1 on the line because it's either going to be 10 times more, 100 times more, or 1,000 times more, or 10 times less, 100 times less, or 1,000 times less. So I put a 1 on the line. Then I count the jumps from each place value. From the tenths place to from the tenths place here, I start jumping. I don't count where I'm starting from. I have 1, 2, 3 places. So I'm going to write 3 zeros after the 1. But I'm not finished. Now I need to compare the value of the places. I start with whatever place comes first. In this case, it's the tenths place. And I ask myself, is the tenths place worth more or less than the hundredths place? Well, it is here, and the hundredths place is here, so it's going to be worth less. So because it's going to be worth less, I make it a fraction. It is worth 1/1000th times less the value of the hundredths place. Number 5, in the number 383 and 287 thousandths, the 8 in the tens place, so I'm going to underline the tens place, is blank times the value of the 8 in the hundreds place. So I'm going to underline those 2 places. I'm going to put a 1 on the line. I'm going to count the number of jumps, 1, 2, 3. Again, it's 3, so I'm going to put 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm going to ask myself, is the tens place worth more or less than the hundreds place, hundredths? Well, the tens place is here. It's worth more than the hundredths place here. So I'm going to leave it alone. It's worth 1,000 times more than the hundredths place.